Welcome everyone to another episode of Sass and the Beard. We are so excited that you've decided to join us this evening. We are on time, thanks to me, because
we're not on time.
When we're late, it's my fault. Well, when we're on time, it's my fault too. So there you go.
Well, we were late, and it was my fault. I'll own it, even though it makes me stressed.
So we do have quite a bit to talk about this week, but we do want you to know if you have a question, we are, following the video. We will respond to your comments hopefully live. If you're watching us on TikTok, if you follow Kristen, we definitely stream live on TikTok as well through Kristen's page.
Yep. Kristen in Arkansas.
We haven't really started a Sass and the Beard TikTok. Let us know if you think we should.
Look, I'm barely managing to have my own TikTok. I can't.
I'm on the fence about it.
I'm old.
Older millennials.
I'm going to be on Facebook.
I watch a lot of TikTok videos, but managing a TikTok account seems like a lot of work. Like from the creator perspective,
It does. But I've been kind of doing these like videos about competitive electoral districts at the state level.
I think those are really cool.
And I really enjoy doing that kind of stuff, talking about that. And then I can, bring those sass a little bit in there.
And I like when you show like the graphics and you do, like the cuts of the videos.
I'm trying to be our, Steve Kornacki. I'm going to be Arkansas Steve Kornacki someday. Y'all
it's better than being Arkansas's Tom Brokaw.
Team Tom Brokaw.
Timu Tom Brokaw. Yeah, that's what you said. That was even better.
He definitely doesn't look like the real thing. It's kind of an off-brand, like Best Buy, or not, what is it, Best Choice?
It's like, wait. Or like the non-made in the USA version of those like
Mattel
toys.
When you order off a Wish.
Yeah.
Tom Brokaw.
If you're not sure, we're talking about
Tom Brokenjaw.
A TikTok I made earlier today talking about Senator Dan Sullivan's plan to eliminate diversity, equity, and inclusion in Arkansas colleges. But tonight on our show, we're going to be talking about more local stuff.
Yes.
We're going to talk about people stealing money all over the place.
Yes. Like we apparently missed the assignment when it came to local, I guess,
theft,
corrupt political, I don't know.
Embezzlement? I don't know, yeah.
Because, like, we ended up focusing on, like, the Yell County Sheriff's wife story and missed the whole Tri-County water. And it's, like, $800,000.
I mean.
That's insane.
Over $827,000.
Yeah. Over, like, almost like a 10-year period.
So we're going to talk about that.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about the school threat that was made on social media that folks have been concerned about. Talk about some other things going on in Yell County. And talk about a city council candidate who withdrew from the race. And a little bit about registering to vote. So we got a lot to cover tonight.
Yeah, we're going to talk about it all. So, Kristen, you really did a deep dive into the Tri-County water situation with the employee there that basically walked out with $827,000. So kind of fill us in. Those of you who mentioned this story to us, thank you for reaching out.
Yeah, thanks. Because this really didn't make it onto statewide news from what I could find. Like, I was expecting to find a story, and I really had to dig to find this information. Like, it was not easy. So what happened here is in Yell County, Natalie Rustin has been charged. She's a longtime employee. She was charged, in Pope County. Yeah. I said Yell County.
Sorry.
She was charged in Pope County Circuit Court for embezzling, or allegedly embezzling over $800,000 from Tri-County Water. According to the documents filed in her case, she is said to have been writing checks to her personal account from the Tri-County Water account and then changing the company records to show that the checks have been paid to various chemical vendors. Apparently, this has been going on since she started working there in 2009, but this has been going on, I think, since 2017. Now, just to be clear, Natalie Rustin did plead not guilty in this case. So these are alleged. She's innocent until proven guilty in a court of law, right?
Yeah.
But the allegations against her are very, very serious.
Right. They have like the checks deposited into her account.
Yeah. They said that they got copies of the checks and the signatures were forged and that they were deposited into Miss Rustin's personal bank account. So definitely not a good look, and a huge amount of money.
Yeah.
And so she's facing several felony charges. And, I think the good thing on this is it was found by an office manager, by another employee who, did the right thing when they found these discrepancies. And then from what we've been told, the insurance covered this. Now, I believe, if I understand correctly, Tri-County Regional Water is a private company, so this wasn't like taxpayer funds.
Right. It's
directly.
similar to like what we do here in the city of Russellville. Yeah.
But it was a massive amount of water, or a massive amount of cost. And, I don't know who my water's through over in Dardanelle, but like that bill been real expensive. And I just assumed it's because my teenage son is always taking like 12-hour showers. Teenage boys, y'all.
Well,
but
this doesn't really. I wouldn't really have to do with people's bills. This is literally just moving money.
I would prefer to think that my bill went up because they lost $800,000 rather than it being because my son has been in the shower for 8 hours.
Because he's a 14-year-old
boy.
Yeah.
And
you know what happens
so bad
in showers with. Okay, moving on. So, Kristen, here's my question. And as a local, a business owner, as a city council, I see a lot of budgets. I see a lot of Excel spreadsheets. I look at bank account transactions. How do you miss something like this for that long period of time?
Well, it depends on your system, right? So if I write a check and then I go into QuickBooks and I say that check was made out to someone who would typically receive a check of that size.
Yes.
It may take quite a while.
Right. And people are just looking at the QuickBooks printout. Also, every once in a while you should reconcile a bank statement. You know what I mean?
Well, that's what I would figure is that you would realize it. Because, you should check your bank where you get a copy of the check. Yeah. Which, look, I can't even remember the last time I've done that, so I can't.
Well, but when you're using QuickBooks
but I don't
or some
use
of
checks
these,
either. You know what I mean?
Some of these other programs that manage your funds, even the online ones, want you to match your transactions to what your bank says, because your bank could be taking money from you. Yeah. You know what I mean? Obviously, banks aren't always perfect. Look at the Chase Bank. Nationwide issue that Chase Bank had, or Wells Fargo, or at some point you got to look at what's going on. Maybe there are new fees that you're being charged and you're not sure why. Yeah. That to me is very, not saying there's anything bad there. It's just it blows my mind that there was a decade of, or almost a decade of transactions.
Yeah. Look, my goal in life, I think, Nathan, is to have a business that's so successful that I don't realize $800,000 is missing for 7 years. I don't think that's ever going to happen for me. I work in a nonprofit. It's completely the wrong line of work for that, but that's my life goal now.
Well, I can understand if it was cash. You know what I mean? You can't really trace. But these are checks with somebody's name on. This was a physical.
Yeah, they got deposited. There's that paper trail.
Yeah. But catch me if you can.
But I think it's one of those things that's interesting is you see this happen with people where I love scam podcasts. I listen to a ton of I listen to Scamfluencers and Scam Goddess and all these different scam podcasts. And the thing I think is really interesting is it seems people will, and this is just conjecture. I don't know about this specific situation, but that people will do something like this once out of some type of desperation, maybe. But then when they don't get caught, it's just so tempting to do it again. And, I think that based on looking at everyone's social media, I'm going to blame teenage sports.
What does that have anything to do with?
That shit is so expensive.
Well, I see what you're saying. So, basically, if you look back through the social media of
the thing that I see in common is everybody's got travel sports, and so I'm blaming the kids. I'm blaming the kids.
Listen, it's expensive. Traveling sports are expensive. I don't know if it's $800,000 expensive,
right?
But they do say,
look, that kid better get to the pros.
that having a child, your expenses are over $1 million per kid over their lifetime. So from birth to 18. So, hey.
Yeah, which I of course never condone somebody,
No, don't
doing
steal
this.
money.
Don't steal money. But
Yes,
I also
from your
think that
employer.
it's like, are we, or any, really, it's probably not a good policy in
I
general.
mean, I'm not.
but
Listen,
but-
I'm not condoning any theft of any money.
no, don't steal money. But
Yeah.
if you do and you get away with it, don't do it again.
But
don't
like Robin
continue
Hood,
it.
robbed the rich to give to the poor. I don't know that I would condone that, but I probably wouldn't be all that upset about it either. So.
Yeah, and also maybe like pay people better.
Yeah,
I saw an ad.
Like if they feel like they need to steal money, how much money
Oh my
are they
God.
making?
I saw an ad for, I think it was in Yell County Police, starting out like at $35,000 a year. I'm like, oh my God, you want people to risk their lives, like literally risk their lives for $35,000 a year? That is insane. You've got to pay people better than that.
Yeah. As someone who's like, that's something we struggle with too here in the city of Russellville. Like, you look at your budget and all the things you have to pay for, and literally 70 to 80% of it is filled with just payroll expenses to police, fire, your support staff in, parks, every department that you have. So there's several hundred people that are making money.
Yeah.
And they all need a job anywhere from $30,000 to $100,000 a year just to live, depending upon what their situation is and how long they work and their education level. And so that's a lot of money.
It does add up. It does. I mean, it gets to be a
in
big
Russellville.
expense.
It's around $11 million.
It's a huge expense, but also you're not going to get the best people to work as police officers if you can't pay them a living wage.
Right.
Like that's a difficult, intense
Maybe
job.
if they got paid more, they wouldn't be out shooting innocent people or doing things that they shouldn't be doing.
Well,
and we haven't had trouble with that here, so I'm not like that's not me making any accusation.
No, we have had. I think we do have a good police officer. Good police force here, but no, I do think it makes a difference in those things. Now, there's a whole systemic issue there to discuss.
For sure.
It's not like something that's just solved by paying people more.
Yeah.
But when you don't pay people well enough to get by, like, it just makes it really hard. You're not going to get the best. You know what I mean? Like, the best are going to go somewhere where if you can cross the river and come over here and make 15,000 more or something, like, you're going to do that. Anybody would. So it's just,
But speaking of the police in Russellville, as far as this situation with the threat to the school.
Ooh, yeah, let's talk about the threat to the school. Okay, so wait, we were talking about the stealing of the money.
Yes.
And that's, different. There's these different police offices and all this different stuff. But let's talk about the school threat.
Yeah. So there was a threat from Instagram, on Instagram, not from Instagram wasn't threatening the school. On Instagram.
Calm down, Instagram.
That Meta be going hard. On Instagram, there was a threat from a student at Russellville School District about shooting that they were planning to attack the school on a particular date. I think the date was either the 6th or the 9th. I can't remember the specific.
No, like the 20-something.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, I don't know. What's that, Northwest Arkansas? I see you.
It was soon. It was like this month for sure.
Yes, in September.
And so there was a lot of stress going on because it got shared on social media and with the whole new like phone policy in the high school, or the fact that you can't have a cell phone. Like, people were discussing whether or not they should send the kids to school. There's a lot of concern about this threat. And today, the police made an arrest of a minor who was involved in this threat situation. They are continuing to investigate. So they probably because they feel like there were more people involved than just this one person.
That's what I've heard as well.
Yeah.
Several potentially several students involved. I haven't really seen many updates. I hope we do get some more updates on
it
this
would
publicly
be nice
because
to
I
know
think that
detail.
especially like we saw today there was a school shooting right
Yeah.
in Georgia that
Yeah.
This is a major fear for parents, and when you. Especially with this cell phone issue, which I'm not using this as like this shouldn't be a reason to not manage.
Yeah.
But it is something that will become an issue when people are worried or
And
at a heightened level
parents
of
are
stress about
afraid
their
that
kids.
there's going to be a major emergency and their kid's not going to be able to reach them in the midst of that major emergency because of these phone pouches or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And things like situations like this only exacerbate that fear. And so, yes, details would be great. Obviously, we're not looking for names of accused or anything like that because they're minors. But any kind of like, this was the plan, here's what we know would be great from the detectives in the situation. But then they are working very hard and doing a great job.
We give a lot of criticism sometimes to like Russellville School District, but as far as especially the school board, but like, I do have faith that they're going to take this seriously. They're going to, focus on making sure kids are safe in school around this kind of thing. I know that's something that everyone involved takes very, very seriously.
And if anything, like the Russellville Police Department
absolutely
is going to, or already obviously taking this very seriously.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
Yeah. I spoke with, not about this issue, but I've spoken with the chief of police several times about like in this situation, like what would we expect from, and he was like, all hands, like we're not trying to not take anything serious, like we want to take everything seriously and make sure that we go above and beyond. And this was right around the time the Uvalde thing had happened.
Oh,
and,
this was,
and he
I
was
remember
very
that.
complimentary of the fact that they wouldn't be people just standing around,
Oh, I thought you were like complimentary of Uvalde. I was like, I don't know.
No. Of his, he was complimentary of his people.
His
saying
people would not do that.
We would not be standing around doing.
I feel very confident about that. Yeah. The So
moving on to
good to
more
see. Yes.
County money being taken.
So in Yell County, where the issue is with the sheriff's wife, we talked about this last week. It's had more coverage on social media as well. Although I will say it's interesting that in Pope County, the woman had to have a bond and a mugshot. Yell County, the sheriff's wife had no bond, no mugshot.
To be fair, it was like 10 times more money, or like a lot more. It was way more than 10 times, 20 times more money.
But like, you don't even have a mugshot. That really irritates me. So, anyways,
again, I'm not condoning theft at all in any way, shape, or form. Just seems like
they are different, levels.
$40,000,
but
which I thought was a lot. Until
honestly, they say though that it's like it's all counted the same as far as the crime if it's over 25,000.
Huh? So if you're gonna steal
the charge
25,
you might as well steal 250.
Yeah.
If you're gonna steal 25, go for 250. Like don't go small because you're gonna get charged with the same.
Again, we are not condoning theft in any
God.
way, shape, or form.
I think Nathan's making plans, but not for the city, but maybe for his business.
No.
Be like, let's tell his dad.
That's already my money. What am I gonna do with it? Just trying to pay my employees.
That's true. But on this issue, the quorum court in Yell County met, talked about this quite a bit, and are planning to meet again.
Yes, they had considered a resolution to ask the current sheriff to resign because of not necessarily his involvement, but that it kind of connects to him. Obviously, it was his wife in this situation. So, and the sheriff, kind of unequivocally said, I've had nothing to do with this. He stood up for himself in that meeting that they were discussing this.
He said, I don't have any knowledge of the finances.
True. That is what he said. But they are planning on having a meeting because they would like to get public input Monday they have like a planning meeting, which is like their more informal meeting, and that's at 5:00, and then a more official meeting at 6:30, and they are asking if you have concerns about this issue to go to those meetings and give your thoughts.
And that'll be at Danville. Yell County is one of those weird counties where we have 2 county seats.
Yep.
And so it'll be at the Danville courthouse or whatever, not the
Darnell one.
Yeah. So plan for that drive if you're going to be over there. If you live in Yell County and you can't make it to the meeting, you can also reach out to your quorum court members and let them know what you think ahead of time. And if I can figure out how to do it on Facebook, we might make a poll.
Yeah. But they all have email addresses and phone numbers. So like text, call, voicemail, all of those things. These are serious issues. I mean, I take calls from people over serious issues and what I might deem non-serious, but to that person, it's a serious issue. So really,
Excuse me,
it's
when I call,
my
it's
job.
always serious.
It
Don't
is-
talk about me
as
like
the
that.
elected official, it is my job to listen to your concerns, regardless of how serious I think they may be. Yeah, it's their job too. They're elected.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Totally their job. So other things on that, speaking of elections,
Yeah.
Roy Reeves withdrew from the city council race.
Yeah. So last week, really over the weekend, I guess, he reported to radio
like a press
station
release, yeah.
and said that he was exiting the race for city council Ward 1 position 2 over health reasons. That and so that would leave just one opponent, like one why am my words not?
Candidate?
Yes, one candidate for that position, and that candidate is Laura Wetzel. Do you have thoughts on that?
Yeah, I thought the post, of course, wish Mr. Reeves well and hope that whatever's going on, he recovers quickly, and that his health is okay. I don't know any details on that. It's none of our business.
Yeah.
But I do wish him the best. I did think it was a little unusual in that situation with the statement coming out that he didn't mention his opponent or like,
hey, vote for this person, or I support
I'm
this person.
glad to
or
see this person run.
thankful for
Like
their-
something,
yeah,
usually
yeah.
there's some kind of nod to your opponent in a
Right.
case like that. Nothing, not a word. So that was weird, I think. But maybe that's just inexperience. I don't know. Just not thinking about it. But they've also had some contentious kind of stuff going on. So who knows? But that was kind of weird to see that there was no nod to the opponent. The other thing I think that folks need to be aware of on this is because he withdrew after the ballot certification date, it's very likely that he'll still appear on the ballot.
Right.
Right? No, might have been close enough, maybe, but I would be shocked. I think that you're going to see his name still appear on the ballot. And if he doesn't, it won't be a big deal unless for some reason he were to receive more votes. And then I think the seat may be declared vacant. I'm not sure. I've seen that happen before where there was a candidate who withdrew after early voting already started and it was a whole thing. But
And
for
they
this,
were winning.
right.
Yeah.
It was a concern, what if they get more votes?
Right, if they get-
I don't
yeah.
think that's an issue here. I saw that Mr. Reeves has been removing his signs, taking down all of his stuff. He's not
And there's
out
still,
there campaigning.
a month
there's
before
still quite a
early
ways.
voting,
And so I don't think that's an issue to be concerned about, other than that it can be a little confusing when you go vote and still see that name
Yeah.
there. So that's the only thing really to keep in mind. I think that Laura Wetzel is a great candidate. I think she loves Russellville, will be a great city council member. I'm really excited to see what she brings, her perspective.
I'm excited to work with her. She was in the running for candidates who that seat that they were running for, or that they are running for, or that now Laura is running for, was filled by appointment because the person who held it previously resigned, and then the city council was able to fill that position, and she was one of the contestants, I guess, of the appointment.
Laura,
would have,
yes,
yeah.
Laura had been one of the people who.
And it just so happened that there were things that the council liked about Michelle and then Laura, and so it was a very hard decision to make between the two of them. But I'm excited to
Between
work.
the two of them and 48 white men.
There were a lot of white dudes, a lot of old white dudes, and the two women. And so, to be fair, they blew them out of the water with their. You know what?
Nothing about that is
Can
surprising.
I just rant for a minute?
Sure, Nathan, I love that.
I am an old white dude, okay? I get that. Like, I'm not old, but I'm old enough.
You're on your
all
way.
And so, like, what's frustrating to me, not about being an old white dude, is that less is expected of me because I'm an old white dude. And that, like,
Speak on
really
that.
freaking good at what I do, okay? And both of those women that, like, applied for this appointment had amazing resumes. Like, they had amazing interviews. They came prepared to discuss specific issues in the city that were important to them and that were important to us. They attended meetings. They did all of the things that we say you should do. And one of them that didn't win has stayed involved and gone to other things and been in the community. How many of those 48 old white dudes that we saw have been continually involved even though they didn't get the appointment? None of them ran for the office.
Well,
Like,
Roy had
he was the only one.
you know, say Roy Reeves had applied for the
and I
appointment.
have a load of respect for him because of that. Like, this 80-year-old
Yeah, I mean,
man
he did,
who's
yeah.
done a lot for the community already and has worked his whole life, like, and decides, okay, I have some things I want to see happen, so I'm gonna run. And like, Debbie mentioned that he and his wife were in a car accident, and so
I hate to hear that.
like, definitely prayers for his quick recovery. But like, I have a lot of respect for that from him. Like, to say, I'm not done with some things I want to do and I'm going to run. Because none of the other dudes that's what's frustrating to me. Like, why do these two women have to be basically perfect to even be considered? But the old white dudes will just be like,
Sir, I work in politics.
no, I
do
understand.
not have an answer to that question.
I know why. But if you don't, this is just like me asking a question I already know the answer to. Like, if you don't say it out loud, and I, as an old white dude, should be able to say it out loud so that other old white dudes listen and are like, oh yeah, I never had to have a great resume to get a job. I just had to know somebody.
Yeah.
Like,
It's like the Barbie movie where it's like, am I doing patriarchy right? Yeah.
I'm Knuff, okay?
You're
I'm
Knuff, yes. It's okay. Yeah. No, that is very real. Like, I definitely feel that in my soul, especially working in politics.
It just pisses me off. Like, I have a daughter. My wife is extremely capable. I have friends, extremely capable people that have probably not been considered because of but Tom Brokenjaw from Eastern Arkansas, whatever, wants to get rid of DEI. Like,
don't get me started.
take
on
it up the
that.
tailpipe, Don Brokenjaw, whatever, Dan.
Team you, Tom Brokaw.
Yeah, Timu. Yeah. Anyway, sorry. That was my rant. Prayers to Roy Reeves. Wish for
For
quick
sure.
recovery.
For sure.
And congrats to Laura Wetzel.
Yeah, I hope him and his wife are okay. Hate to hear that. That's, you know, even if I disagree with somebody or, like, you know, I'm on the opposite side of an issue, like, you never want to see somebody go through something like that. Like, you got to be able to put politics aside when it
Like,
comes to
this
things
is
like
not
that.
about
Like,
personal
yeah,
grievance.
no.
Like, when we do this, when we say this is what is going on, we are not personally attacking people
I mean,
because we
sometimes.
disagree with them. I am not.
I am sometimes.
And so, like, if we, like, even in talking about these situations where people took money, like, we know some of these people, or I do.
I don't.
Like, and like, it hurts me to talk about things like that because I feel for them. But it is also, like, I didn't do it. You know? I'm not in that situation. I hope that if I am ever in a situation like that, I can be as graceful, you know? But, like, I'm not.
Yeah.
And so, like, we are not trying to hurt feelings or be, you know, aggressively pursuing people in their worst times ever. Like,
Again.
just
Sorry.
keep it in your pants and don't steal money from your boss. Like, if you're going to be involved in politics at all, keep it in your pants, and don't take money. And you probably won't have any troubles.
I mean, it really is that simple. But those two things seem to be very difficult for people.
Because of old white dudes.
Well, although I will say in this case, it's
They were white women.
Their wives did it. So that happened. Well, so we did see that. We saw where we saw oh my God.
Words? Do you know the words too?
Depart. Okay. I couldn't come up with the right D word. I only got one thing on my mind. It's not that.
Wait, okay, since we're talking about the city of Russellville.
Wait, is that what we were talking about?
No.
That was not the D word.
I want to remind everyone that you got new trash cans in your yard. If you are a residential customer of the city of Russellville, you have gray trash cans, and they have, one of them has an orange lid, and one of them has a gray lid. And if you're just trying to get your trash picked up, you put it in the orange container.
Oh, that's going to go terribly
with
for
the
a while,
orange
isn't it?
lid.
Isn't that reverse of how it was with waste management? Oh, that's
and
going to
the
be fun.
recycling goes in the can with the same colored lid as the can. Recycle into the gray container.
I don't know if we're going to be able to
Regular
rhyme that,
trash goes. I'm telling you guys, people care so much about this. Yeah. Like I have been so surprised. Like probably the most surprised I've been in a political setting has literally been that people care this much about trash. Okay? The orange can is the one you put your trash in. Okay?
And the other one's recycling.
And the other one's recycling.
Reverse.
It is the opposite of the way it used to be.
Oh, look, somebody said, gonna have to go and switch some cans tonight. Eek. Whoopsie.
Sorry, Teresa.
Glad we helped clear that up.
Glad we let you know.
Hopefully there'll be a little grace period. Like, they've got to expect a little bit of that. They're going to be like, what the hell is happening in Russellville? Nobody understands the can system. We're just confused.
Yeah,
it was a different way for a long time.
The mayor and several council members have been communicating with the folks from Cards. There's not, like, nobody's mad. Like, I'm sure there are people that are mad because they're trash.
There's always people
There will be people this week that get mad. Like, give it a little while. This is all new for all of us.
I just want to say on this, though, like, this is one of those things that I love about local politics is, you know, it's something I joke about a lot is I say that if you get 10 of your friends to cyberbully the mayor, you can get a lot of shit done. And, like, I love that because it's so true. Like, it, you know, and I say cyberbully jokingly, but, like, but, you know, like, making your voice heard, saying, I'm upset about this. This isn't going well. I want the city to do something. You know, when a few people, it doesn't take a whole lot of people. No. You know, of this town of what, like, 50,000, not 50,000 people, but 35, 40,000 people, you know, maybe 150, 200 made phone calls. Maybe 500.
I would say a lot. There are because like they're calling.
But still,
the
that's 1%, 2%.
And some of them are the same, like repetitive.
Oh yeah, make repetitive phone calls for sure. But that stuff really does make a difference when you do that. Y'all are killing me.
Trump has an orange lid.
Good one, Kim. That was a good one.
All right. So, are you going to talk to us about wet signatures and dry signatures and how, in this context, the dry signature?
I'm going to talk about politicians not being able to make you wet sign a voter registration form.
Oh, Tom Brokenjaw.
So, yes, we were so last week, you know, we did the show last week on Wednesday, and then on Thursday, we got some really exciting news out of federal court in the Western District of Arkansas. We got a preliminary ruling.
News? Out of the Supreme Court in Arkansas? Okay.
Federal court, not the state court.
That's what, yeah.
Yeah, but we got some great news. They ruled from the bench a preliminary injunction, so as the case continues to play out, we'll be able to do online voter registration. Basically, it's not really online voter registration because real online voter registration would go straight to the clerk.
Right.
What we have, you actually have to we still end up printing it out and
We
turning it in.
have damp online voter registration.
Moist.
Moist. It's kind of like how you can get alcohol in Russellville, but you just can't like take it home when you buy it in Russellville.
They call them damp counties,
Yeah,
but I like to call
yeah.
them moist counties
Yeah.
just to fuck with people.
Yes.
So yes, you can sign your voter registration form digitally now, or you can sign it wetly, moistly, whatever, by hand.
The ink is wet. Like the people clarify it to the people. Wet signature is you use.
But
ink.
what's easier than that
is to
is
fill out a form.
go to getloudarkansas.org, click register to vote in the top upper left corner, and it'll take you to a form where you just fill out all your information. It takes like 90 seconds, and it puts it all onto the voter registration application for you. And then you sign it, we print it off, turn it in for you, you're done. It's it. It's registered to vote.
You got 1 month.
Like you wait for them to send you a form.
GetLoudArkansas.org.
.org. Yeah. GetLoudArkansas.org. And if you would like to use it to go out and register other people, please feel free. I can send you a QR code that you can use if you want. Like, we're all about
They
it.
have little pamphlets, little flyer things. They're very.
I just ordered some really cute ones today that I designed that are like, scan the QR code to pull up your sample ballot, and then on the back, it has like a space for you to write in all of your choices for all the way down the ballot so that you can go in ready to go and like take your little card with you.
And Kristen designed the website where you can actually do the
Listen,
voting registration.
I'm an asshole, but I try to do good things.
Like freaking A.
It is what it is.
Put that in your resume, Tom Drunkenjaw.
It's getting worse.
When I was a teenager, like my grandfather would get mine and my brother's friends' names wrong, and so he would give them country singer names, and so like he had this friend named Travis, and so my grandpa would call him Travis Tritt and be like, "Oh, that's old Travis Tritt." That's how he remembered his name. And then, but like at some point you like graduate high school, move on to college, you become an adult. And one day my grandpa was asking about friends, and he said, "Hey, how's old Alan Jackson?" Because he forgot which country star he named the. So I said all that to say it's in my blood.
My dad just called all of my friends and or boyfriends Durwood.
Durwood.
That was what he called all of them. If he remembered your name, it really meant you're special. Like
Okay.
he really liked you because he just called everyone Durwood.
I got to come up with something like that for my kids because they're little right now, and like I like all their friends because they, they're mostly nice to each other.
The other thing my dad used to say that always cracked me up as a teenager, because I was like, a teenager. He'd like, if I did something stupid, he'd be like, "That was a real boner, wasn't it?" and I would giggle. I could not keep a straight face.
Like that's not how you do it, Dad.
I'm like, I don't think that's what that word means.
That's not how that works.
But he would just say that every time, and I would be like, just don't laugh. Don't laugh. I'm going to get in more trouble. But that shit was hilarious. Yeah.
All right. Well, okay. So one quick question, Kristen, about voter registration. If you register after October 7th, like you fill out the paperwork like on October 8th, it will register you for the next election. Or are you guys stopping it after?
Well, no, we aren't. But
Okay.
the state will stop accepting voter registration forms on October 7th for the November election. So that 30-day window from October 7th to November 5th, even if they receive forms, they'll just hold them.
Gotcha.
But then they'll go ahead and put them in, because then if there is, for some reason, a runoff in a race,
Yes.
you can vote in the runoff.
Gotcha.
But yeah, for the general, you have to register by October 7th or have it postmarked by that date. And yeah, get your information in.
Yeah. Cool.
If you have in the last 6 months updated your address through the DMV, you should very much go and check your voter registration on Arkansas Voter View to see if your address is correct, because it probably isn't.
Especially if you got one of those like long-term driver's licenses where it's like 7 or 8 years.
Well, the thing about it is when you go to vote, your driver's license does not have to match your current address. Your driver's license doesn't.
But your registration
But your voter
does.
registration needs to be your current address.
Yes.
And so if you moved within the same county, it's not that big of a deal. It's pretty easy to just fix it at the polls. But if you changed counties, you're going to want to get that in advance because you don't want to show up to vote and they'd be like, I don't know. Even if you think that you did it, the DMV did not update, like it didn't transfer to the voter registration file. So right now my organization is texting like 20,000 people trying to help let them know, like, hey, your current address doesn't match what's on the voter file. It's cool. We got the mover list, the national change
cool.
of address.
Yeah.
Look, I'm pretty smart.
Yeah.
And
Way
so,
to go.
Thanks.
Don't let anybody tell you you're not good at your job.
I will not. I will.
And don't
beat
tell
their
that to
asses.
yourself.
I won't. I'm good at
Good.
my job.
Good.
Like I may be trash, but I'm good at my job. I thought it was cute. I watched the show last week, and it was so cute when you were like,
Yeah,
"Don't
yeah,
call
yeah.
yourself
Don't
trash."
call yourself trash.
You're so sweet. But
But
yeah.
if you're gonna throw yourself away, make sure you put it in the orange lid.
In the orange lid.
So who gets the golden ass this week, Kristen? The accountant at Tri-County Regional Water.
Look, I think it goes to Nick Galt. That's who I'm saying. Sheriff Galt
Okay.
gets the golden ass. I don't know. Who do you think? You think the woman who took the money, potentially, allegedly?
Yeah, man, that's a lot of money. And I don't care how many, trips your kids take. Like, yeah, like $800,000 is a lot of money.
It's a lot of money. Even over like 7 years, like that's a lot of money.
Yeah,
Wait,
that's over
I'm so bad at
$100,000
math.
a year.
that's crazy.
Like, that's a salary.
Yeah.
So
it's like three.
that's like
salaries.
yeah, that's like a married family salary
Mm-hmm.
in Arkansas. So for sure.
Oh, I see the thing. Yeah, somebody said about stickers with the QR code. I have a ton of those. Let me know. I'll hook you up.
Just send her a message. She'll get them to you.
I'll leave them at Nathan's
At
office.
Joshua's Fine Jewelry.
So you can go by and pick it. You can go by and talk to him and get the stickers.
All right. Well, that's it. I don't have anything else to talk about this week. Do you have anything else?
I don't.
Okay. If you are watching, whether it be on TikTok or Facebook or any other outlet of social media, and you want us to talk about something, you can reach out to us via message, and we're pretty good to respond about that stuff. We really appreciate you watching, so please share this video with your friends and let them know what's going on locally, politics in the River Valley or the state of Arkansas, or really all over the place. And we'll see y'all next week.